Shalom, shalom, shalom. All praises to the Most High Yah. I do hope that you are well and that you are rejoicing in Yah, the Elohim of your salvation. I hope you had a good Sabbath and that you are rested and you found the Sabbath of Yah a delight. Hallelujah. I want to speak specifically to the daughters of Zion, words that I believe, thoughts that is very strong in my ruah. And I had intended to do this in the car, but it's a lot. And I wanted to make sure I got everything out that is in my spirit. And a lot of the things that I'm saying that I'm sure you will have heard before, but nevertheless, I am going to say it again because it's in my spirit. Hallelujah. This song just came on my heart, and so I want to sing it. When the music fades, all is stripped away, and I simply come, longing just to bring something that's of worth that will bless your heart. I'll bring you more than a song, for a song in itself is not what you have required. You search much deeper within, through the way things appear. You're looking into my heart. I'm coming back to the heart of worship, and it's all about you. It's all about you, yeah. I'm sorry, yeah, for the things I've made it. When it's all about you, it's all about you, yeah. It's all about you. It's all about you. It's all about you, yeah. It's all about you. It's all about you. It's all about you, yeah. Hallelujah. It's all about Yah. It's all about Yah. We have to go back to the heart of worship, because it's truly all about Yah. It's not about us. It's about Him. Someone said to me, well, I call Him this. And I said, okay. And I wonder if did you find out if He minds you calling Him such and such a thing? See, we have made serving the Most High about us. This is what I want, and this is what I like, and well, this is what I do. And we feel as if He have to accept it. You understand? But it's time for us to go back to the heart of worship, to go back to it being all about Yah. You understand me? Our life, our living, all about Yah. Not about us, but about Yah. You understand? We must seek to decrease and allow Yah to increase in us. I want to speak to the daughters of Zion today. Well, it's night, it's late, it's very early in the morning. But I need to speak to the daughters. Lift the standard. Lift the standard. I'm speaking specifically to the daughters of Zion. The Most High is calling us back to the standard of set apartness and righteousness. We have to go back. We have to be the light to the world, to the other, to all those around us, to the other sisters. We have to be the light. We have to lift the standard. And I'm just going to point out certain situations that I've seen, draw to your attention, and how we have to set the standard. We have to set the standard. Isaiah 62:10, 10-12. Go through the gate. Prepare ye the way of the people. Cast up the highway. Get out the stones. Lift up a standard for the people. Behold, Yah has proclaimed unto the end of the world. Say ye to the daughter of Zion, behold, your salvation comes. Behold, his reward is with him, and his work before him. And they should call them the kodesh people, the redeemed of Yah. And you shall be called, sought out, a city not forsaken. This scripture just came to me today. I was looking for the meaning of the word standard in the Hebrew. Mind you, I had already written out this. And I saw this, and I was like, wow. I had another scripture, and the Ruach said, no, that is the one to use. And this teaching was something I had planned to do. Not really a teaching, but to talk in my car a few days ago. But again, I didn't feel, and this scripture explains why, because I didn't have this at the time. I'm going to read that again. Isaiah 62:10-12. Go through the gate. Prepare ye the way of the people. Cast up the highway. Gather out the stones. Lift up a standard for the people. And behold, Yah is proclaimed unto the end of the world. Say ye to the daughter of Zion, behold, your salvation comes. Behold, his reward is with him, and his work before him. And they shall call them the kodesh people, the redeemed of Yah. And you shall be called, sought out, a city not forsaken. Yah is calling us back to his standard. We have to live up a standard amongst the people, a standard of holiness, set apartness, a standard of righteousness. The Hebrew word for standard is H5251. The word standard used here, nas. From H5264, a flag, also a sail, by implication a flag staff, generally a signal, figuratively a token, something lifted up. Standard, signal pole, and sign, banner, a sign. Sail, standard as a rallying point, a distinguished mark, a warning. Google definition. Standard is defined as a level of quality or attainment, something used as a measure, norm, or model in comparative evaluations. We have moved from the standard of morality set by the Most High, and it's laid out in the law, Yah standard. There was certain things a woman just did not do, and I'm speaking specifically to us, the daughters of Zion. Women had a standard. They set a precedence. Years ago, a woman was respected because of the way she conducted herself, and just because she was a woman, the way she conducted herself in public, polite and conservative, soft-spoken. Loud talking from a female in public setting was frowned upon and considered quite unacceptable. A woman was respected because of the way she dressed. If a woman dressed in very short, revealing clothing, exposing private body parts, she automatically was taken for a prostitute or woman of the night. Women were respected because of the way they took care of their families. We teach people how to treat us by how we present ourselves and what we are prepared to accept. Today, for the most part, the standard that was many years ago is no more. It seems as if anything is now accepted once you reach a certain age. We often hear she's out of school now, so it is okay for her to have a baby, although not married. Well, she's off school now and she's working. She can take care of herself. There's no longer the expectation for a female to be married before she have a child. We have to live the standard. Many years ago, that was frowned upon, but it is now the norm. We should all now strongly advise and encourage our young teenage daughters to maintain sexual purity until marriage. I'm so sorry that I was not told the value of my virginity, but I am encouraging my daughter to value hers and herself. I told her no kissing, no touching. Because the minute you do that, it lowers your value. It opens the door for something else. It sends the message that I can be convinced to do the next step. I have learned through painful experience that once a male knows that you have engaged in certain activity, then what is the reason not to do it again? Even if our young females have made the mistake and gave into pressure one time, let us encourage them not to continue. You do not have to stay in that position. You can now decide that, okay, that was a mistake. I messed up. But I'm now setting a new standard for myself. I will not engage in sexual activity anymore until I'm married. There is no longer the expectancy that a female will be a virgin at marriage. There's no longer that expectancy. Our society no longer is conducive to that. You understand me? We have to live the standard. We have to live the standard. I said to my daughter, although I did not marry a virgin, and if I knew then what I now understand, I would have. But there were one thing I decided for me, two things. One, I would not have a child until I was married. And two, I would not travel with a man unless he was my husband. Well, three, and I would not live with a man unless we were married. My daughter was born 2 weeks before my 28th birthday. And we were going on 6 years of marriage. To date, the only man I've ever traveled with was my ex-husband. Have I been offered travel trips? Yes. And when asked why by the makers of those offers, I didn't accept. My response has always been, I do not want to make permanent memories in temporary situations. And the feedback is always that, oh, you haven't lived, or you have missed out on so much. You have not traveled. Have you ever had a man do this for you or do that for you? Never had a man invite you to just come and don't bring anything, just come? And I say no. I've not experienced those things because there were certain things I wanted to experience with my husband. And it didn't happen, but I'm good. And these males are not offering you a commitment. just a cheap weekend trip. And I say cheap because what's the purpose of it? Where's it gonna lead? You understand me? Why you want to take me on a weekend trip but you don't want to commit to me? And they think you should be excited about that. Why? Because it is the standard that is accepted by other females. And now they can't understand why you have to be different. You understand? Especially, I'm talking to my sisters, when you get a certain age and you are divorced and have children, be like, oh, well, you might as well just accept it. You then been, what you holding on to, what you holding back for. That is the normal consensus that I get. Like, okay, you're done a certain age and you're done divorced, you have 2 children. I mean, what else is there to do? You might as well just, you understand? But we have to live a standard. We have to get back to the standard. It doesn't matter how old you are or what you would have experienced before in your past. You understand me? You can decide today, right now, that I'm going to do something different. You understand? You're not responsible. You can't change what has happened, but you can make a difference moving forward. I've only lived with one man, and our wedding night was the first time he and I lived under the same roof. Have I been offered, since my divorce, to move in with someone? Yes. You understand? Regardless of what you say with your mouth, and they can see you believe a certain thing, they can still make the offer. They can still come, but you have to maintain your standard. I think one of the most devaluing experience for a female is to settle for living with a man who is not your husband. This is my very personal view. And I'm sorry if I sound very opinionated, but this is something that it grieves me when I see it, to be honest with you. And I do not understand why and how females do it. Why? Why live with him? Fulfill all the duties of a covenant woman, but not be one. Why am I good enough to live with you, but not good enough to carry your name? What security is there in living with a man who's not legally bound to you? Why put yourself through that? How hard will it be just to get married? What is there to prevent you from getting married? It can't be the finances, because you're already living together. Why get engaged to a man you already living with? Do you know the message you are sending to this man? That you are good enough to live with him, but not good enough for him to marry. And this is so prevalent in our society. And so many sisters are settling for this. I've had about 3 males in the last few years say to me how they put the female out of their house. One said he beat her with a belt, packed up her stuff and garbage bags, and dropped her to her mother's house. And this particular lady was older than he was, much older than him, and that's how he treated her. Another said he gave her 2 weeks to find a place. The other said he beat her, gave her 2 weeks to find a place, but continued to have sex with her while she was there for the 2 weeks trying to find a place. Talk about degrading and disrespectful. But that is the position we put ourselves in when you decide to live with him instead of waiting to be married. As these males shared these stories with me, my thought was, why subject yourself to that treatment? Why subject yourself to that arrangement? Why settle for that? I witnessed about a year ago, a man put a very young female, someone looked very much younger than him, out of his apartment. He toted all of her stuff out of the gate while loudly saying, "Get out of my place." I mean, just degrading. "Get out, just go." She stood on the lawn trying to call someone, telling them, "He just put me out. I should have listened to my mommy. My parents told me not to do this." There's a neighbor whose front door is my bedroom window. And I am wondering why it is that the young lady is living with him. The constant, loud, degrading comments. You understand? And why? Why are you going to live with someone who's going to treat you like this? And he's not married to you. You understand? Why are our mothers, and I know sometimes we cannot change or force them once they get a certain age, but this is the problem. Because we are going along with what the system is, what society is, what is now the norm. We are not creating an environment in our home, a standard in our house to say this is how it's going to be. You understand? So our children are not seeing that this is the expectation. I expect you, and I raise you, that when you leave my house, you leave in my house with a husband. You're not going to leave my house to go and just shack up with no man. That's not the expectation I have. That's not how I raise you. These things have to be instilled in our children's head from they're young. We have to change this standard. One experience that we've had, a young man living with a young woman, and you could hear the beating, and she would be screaming. And then afterwards you would hear, a few minutes later, the loud sounds from their interaction. And after speaking with him, it was like, he only putting up with her because her mother don't want her living with her. She don't get on with the mother, and her mother don't want her living there. And this young lady was so, I don't know if because she was so broken, but so very rude. Very rude, would not speak to you at all. And he seemed to be more of a manly person. When he saw you, he would talk and he would speak, but the young woman, but he was just so frustrated. So in his frustration, he just beat her. You understand? And I cannot understand how it is that some of our mothers are comfortable or relaxed. You would rather have your daughter living out, young daughter, with a man, than to have in the house with you and go back and forth with her until she understands your point, than to just let her be out getting abused like that. And it is so sad that in today's society, it seems that once the child turns 18, then you're considered an adult. You're considered an adult. You could just go and do and da-da-da-da. You raised her, you brought until she's 18. and then she could go on and any man could have his way with your child? We have to lift the standard. But the question is, why is it so accepted for you to live in a house with a man before you're married? Why is that accepted when you could just go and get married? You know why? Because marriage is only seen as the wedding day, the wedding, the glitter, the dress up, the party, not the purity and sanctity of the marital relationship. Understand? We don't emphasize that marital relationship. What kind of excitement and pleasure you could get after you then live together for all these years, and now you go and get quote unquote married, and you come back to the same place. So what's that about? When I got married, it was the excitement that, okay, we can finally be living in the house together, we can fix up our place together and stuff like that. You're starting out fresh, you went and buy your little stuff and everything together, and it was that excitement, that this is now our place together. We have to lift the standard on the way we dress. A senior man over 80 years old told me how he and his brother, who's older than he, was talking about the state of women today and asking the question, why? Where did the standard of years ago gone and why? The elder said his brother spoke to him about a female he saw standing on a bus stop wearing a very small dress, and she was on the heavy side. And to make matters worse for him, she was standing on the side of the road eating. The elder brother was very displeased because, according to him, that's not how females presented themselves in public settings in the past. Now, these two gentlemen are in their 80s. So his question and his concern is, why the change? What is going on? Why are women behaving this way? I saw a mature woman on the bank line last year, and she looked as if she had just gotten out of bed and was walking around her house. She was wearing a sheer, short dress, floral print panty, no bra. So in the sheer dress, her nipples were exposed. I saw this. Very attractive, mature woman. She had to have been in her 60s. Makeup, hairpin, came out for the morning, Hairpin up, manicure tools, manicure, fingernails, makeup. And she's standing like that, talking to the young security guard. And as I looked at her, I said to myself, Mom, you really, at your age, should be teaching younger women how to present themselves in public, not for you to look as if you're trying to join them. You understand me? Where are the examples of modesty? We are supposed to be an example of what modesty looks like. We have to lift the standard. That was very disappointing to see. And this don't look like no regular woman. This was a woman that looked real sophisticated, Beautiful senior woman. There seems to be a competition going on between the young females and the older females. Too many mature females seems as if they are resenting their senior years and are doing everything to stay and look young. And there's nothing wrong with looking young. You're aging gracefully, but do it with dignity. You understand? Do it with dignity. Do it with respect. Embracing your senior years. This may be the reason there appears to be an increase in older females marrying younger males. I have heard of stories of mommies and daughter having sexual relation with the same man. This is going on. Of course, either one of them may not know, but the males are talking it. You understand how he is sleeping with both the mother and the daughter. You understand? Because mother and daughter going out to disco and everything alike, and everybody dressing up and looking alike, and you understand? There's this competition going on. Leviticus 18 and 17, you shall not uncover the nakedness of a woman and her daughter, neither shall you take her son's daughter or her daughter's daughter to uncover her nakedness, for they are her near kinswoman. It is wickedness. You know what is disturbing? That a male will feel comfortable approaching the mother knowing that he's sleeping with the daughter. What is it about the mother that she is sending a message that I would do such a thing? You understand? Why does he feel so comfortable that he can just come and approach you as a mother for sexual activity? Where's the respect? What signals are you sending? The older women is supposed to teach the younger women according to Titus 2. But if the older women do not want to get old and are instead competing with the younger women for a male, who is doing the teaching? Everyone seems to want to be Stella trying to get her groove back. We have to lift the standard. A male post on Facebook asking the question, where have the females of old gone? There were many angry replies from females saying how they were more educated, making more money, so they do not have to put up with what women in the past had to put up with. Angry. I was not at all surprised at the response or the angry emojis that went with the reply, but it was disappointing to see how far we have moved from the standard of womanhood of the past, and worse, how we do not see how it has negatively affected our family structure. It is my opinion that we have gotten caught up in the wicked feminist movement, and I've said this many times before. There was a time when, regardless of what the man did, the woman maintained her place and position. She took care of the home and her children. She represented herself well in her appearance. Today, that seems to have basically gone out the window. Very few women still maintain that standard. And the few who does, we have to be light, an example of what Yah intended. The feminist movement was formed a lot of views, erroneous views, actions, and beliefs many females have regarding relationship with males and family life. You understand? We think the message is the equality means that I can do exactly what you do, which is why I don't subscribe to it. You understand me? That fight for equality means now that, oh, you had 3, you could sleep with 10 women, I could sleep with 10 men. You understand? You could do this and I can do it. You know, I'm making as much money as you can't have nothing, you don't have nothing to say to me, so I can just do what I like. You know, there is no standard. There's no respect, no mutual respect, no self-respect. Anything goes because now I am free, I am equal to you. You can't say nothing to me. I don't have to live by anybody's rule. I can do what I like. And it is sad. We have to lift the standard on who we choose to be our husband and the father of our children. There are too many males with low morals, low spirituality, low intelligence, low communication skills, low job performance, low bank accounts, low work productivity skills, but raise penises. Everything else low but that standing up. There was a song many years ago, that's all they have to offer. There was a song many years ago that said, if you want a $20, $10, $5, $1 man. I was very young when this used to play. I could hear the tune in my head, but I can't, not to sing it. But the $1 man was just to say you have a man. He can't do anything. You understand me? And some of us seems like we're just settling for male, just to say we have a male present. And then we complain he can't do anything or he's not a leader. A man will try to bring you down to a standard that he's comfortable with. And when you lower your standard to them or for them, they use it against you. Listen, I find that you have some men, they look at you and they see the quality you are, and then they come, and if you give in to that, oh my goodness, it is a sad thing. Yes, I mean, they want a woman with a certain quality, but they themselves know that they are not deserving. But they also know that so many women are desperate and so many women are lonely. You understand? But if you give in to that low value man, low intelligence, low communication, low job performance, broke, you understand me? He will treat you like the most disrespect. Because number one, he didn't expect that you would fall for his crap. They use it as a reason not to respect you. When you allow someone to lower your standard, then you allowing them to define your worth, your value. You define your value. You define your worth. You should say what you are worth and what your value. You should know that this is something we need to teach to our young daughters. We need to tell them their worth and their value. I think that is what a lot of young women are lacking. No one ever said to them how precious and valuable they are. And whatever you decide that is, stick with it. And do not lower it for anyone. If you decide, I am not going to do this or I'm not going to do that, and I'm going to wait until marriage, even if you're already divorced, then that is it. You understand? You don't need to repeat the same thing to have the same result. You don't have to keep repeating it. You don't have to do the same thing. You can now decide, okay, that's what I did back then. You understand? You could have been a prostitute. That's what I did. This is me now. I am deciding today. This is the new me. This is my stand. No matter how they comes in, and they want to remind you, you then was, that's fine, yes. But this is me now. You understand? No matter what they say and how they want to remind you of your past and tell you think you whatever, you stick to it. Because when you stick to it, then you will see how their view of you will change, because now they can see you're really serious about this. If you meet a male who think you act like you all that, and he's trying to get you to do what you have decided you will not do, he's not the man for you. A male told me I thought I was quote unquote white because I did not go grocery shopping to a place called Meat Max, where the items were cheaper. Seeing how I'm a single woman paying rent and have 2 children, He didn't see why I had to drive to another area to go to a supermarket there. I asked him if I was spending his money or if he's put gas in my car. My thing was, what is it to you? You understand? His problem was my living standard was too high for him. So he was trying to bring me down to his pocket level. My dear late mother Christine said to me, she said, if a male meets you drinking aqua pure water, don't let him reduce you to Chelsea's. You see what I'm saying? They want you, but they want you to come down to a level where they can deal with you or on their level. You understand me? A man will bring you low if you allow him. You need a male who's going to elevate you higher. But in order to meet a man who will do that, you have to maintain the standard and value you have placed on yourself. You understand me? Don't lower yourself. You maintain your standard. And eventually you'll meet the man that is at your standard or even higher, who can take you higher. But don't go down low to accommodate someone who is lower than you. We have to lift the standard on dating practices. I don't do the dating thing, but why is it, or courting, that if you're courting a male, getting to know, he has to pay your bills? Where did this culture of prostitution come from in the male-female relation, where a female cannot talk to a male unless he's given her money? Why are young females selling themselves? I meet old and young, and it's very surprising me to find that the conversation quickly goes to what they can do for you financially, and there's this expectation that sex will be a result. I mean, they go right there. I had a young male tell me how the young females will itemize what it is that they need from the male upon meeting. Like, you just meeting them and they then tell you, I need this, I need that, I need that, if you expect me to do this and that. A male, 40, he was about 40 at the time, this was a few years ago, who was trying to court me, but he was still living home with his mother, told me that he had a female friend he would sexually maintain when she wanted it, and if she needed $30 or $40, he would help her out. But on the regular, they had no communication. I told him it sounded like prostitution to me, and he got offended. But I found out it was something that is now called friendship with benefits, and it appears to be an accepted new trend. We have to lift the standard. We have to lift the standard on how we allow or who we allow around our children and in our personal space. We expose our children to sexual predators. We are so quick to bring a male around, someone you have just met. You don't know him sufficiently to bring him around your children. Why are we allowing the male strange man to drop and pick up our children from school? We get so familiar so quick. Why you bring them to the house, to live in the house with you and with your children, or moving in to his house with your children? You understand? Why you're gonna put your children in that environment for the man to come on one day? You can imagine me. Someone asked me, this person I've been talking to, would you move in with me? No. What? Why? No. You say, you wouldn't move in me unless I marry you? I say, you're D right. What I can do that for? Why would I do that? I am comfortable where I am. I am taking care of me and my two children. Why would I uproot me and my children from our comfortable home to go and live in uncertainty. You understand? Why do that? Why are we doing things like that? Why? Because his place may be big and nice and he have more money and stuff like that. And the man can come home one day and tell you and your children, get out. What is the sense in doing that? And he was shocked. Like, you understand? Because so many persons want to live in his house. You understand me? Asking him, telling him that they moving in with him. So I'm supposed to be like, oh, I'm offering you. You know, this is a privilege that I'm offering you. You know, I have these people coming. They're telling me. But I'm offering you to come. No, thank you, child. I'm good. You understand? Why are you bringing him home to live in the house with you and your children, or moving in your children to live with him? I want to share with you some alarming statistics. I do not remember if I shared it in the video, Be Angry and Sin Not. 1 in 4 girls are sexually abused by the time they are 18. Children ages 7 to 13 are the most vulnerable to sexual abuse, child sexual abuse. 1 in 6 boys are sexually abused by the time they are 18. You understand? These are supposed to be international statistics. Mothers, sisters, daughters of Zion, we have to be more vigilant about protecting the innocent of our children and creating and securing safe environments free from sexual abuse and physical violence. We have to do this. We have to tell our young sons and daughters the value of their virginity and sexual purity. We have to do this. We have to change this low moral standard in our society. We have to show and say to our children that it is a better way. I don't think any parent should want to know that their children will have the same experiences that they had. I don't want my children to go through what I went through, which is why I make the choices and decisions that I make. I don't want them. There's no reason for you. You don't have to experience a life of pain and hurt. You don't have to experience feeling devalued and like you don't worth anything. To have a man crawl all over you just to get up and go like it was just another experience when it's supposed to be a special time shared with a person, the man who loves you and is going to protect you. We have to let them know, yes, sex is a beautiful thing with the right person. Outside of that, it isn't beautiful, it isn't good. Because the feeling that you get afterwards when these people walk away is not worth it. We have to lift the standard of morality in our environment and our society. We have to lift the standard of our self-esteem. We have to lift the standard of our self-worth and self-value. We have to lift the standard on our private and social conduct. We have to lift the standard on our personal integrity. I want to encourage you, do not lower your standard, the standard you have set for yourself. I don't care if you are 100. Do you understand? And it doesn't matter what you would have done in your past. You now decide this is what I'm going to do and how I'm going to live. You should not be what people think you are so that they can be comfortable with you or you with them. You shouldn't have to change your standard for no one to feel that, okay, now I can deal with you. Yah gave us the standard for our life and living in His Torah. The Torah is the standard we should be living by. The Most High has impressed upon me to learn and follow the culture and customs of the Hebrew and to teach it to my children. And the more I learn, the more I realize that the Torah is the standard that we should be living by. Daughters of Zion, we have to come back to the Torah. We have to come back to living according to the way of Yah. The standard the Most High has established for us is in His Torah. His way is perfect. His Torah is perfect. Let us strive to follow His way and be the example, the light, the sign, the banner Yah intended for us to be. We have to live our standard to that of the Torah. That's the goal that we should be living by, the Torah. That is the standard that we have to set around us. That's what we have to allow people to see. Doesn't matter how they may think and look funny at you and whatever. You understand? For you and your house, for you and your children. Because we have to be the light. Something has to change in our society and we have to be that change. It is really, really bad. Some of the things that I've heard, some of the things that I see, it is sad. When you have our young daughters out here allowing man to beat upon them and violate them, defile them, because someone didn't tell them how valuable they are. I want to encourage you, mothers, sisters, whoever hearing this, we have got to change. We have got to start doing things differently. You understand? We have to make a difference. You have to make a difference. And I feel it very much in my ruah that the Most High is calling us back. This is serious to His standard of living that is laid out in His Torah. You understand? I believe it's Leviticus 22 gave us an outline on sexual conduct. Everything is laid out in the scriptures, but we have to adhere to it and put it into practice so others can see and encourage other people to live and follow the Torah. I hope this encourages you and inspires you to make a difference in your environment and the life of other people that you see. Just speak a word. You understand? And start sharing your experiences. Sometimes we have experience and we don't say nothing. That your testimony can help another young woman from going through the same pitfalls that you would have went through. And I find that that's one of the things that we have gone wrong. We don't talk our stories. You understand? We allowing all these young people to experience life for themselves. We're not telling them. That is why you have old and younger. You're supposed to pave the way. They should be learning from you, but if you ain't telling them nothing and letting them learn for themselves, so that cycle is repeating. We have to do something. We have to make a change. We have to lift the standard. And we should start by speaking, talking to the young people. Shalom.